You're listening to Amazing Life Podcast, the best podcast in the world. Woo! It's always a delight to know that you're listening to this podcast, to know that you're subscribing, to know that you're leaving your comment. I cannot always thank you enough. And I do appreciate each one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is going to be a wonderful ride. And I call it Lessons in Politics. I tell you, because everything around us is changing. The news is fluid. Everything doesn't stand still. It's becoming like a vapor. And we need to catch it, stare at it, and admire it in our hearts. So what am I saying? In Psalm 37 verse 4, it says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. So what are you delighting yourself in? What are you thanking God for? It's been a wonderful week. The sun is out. It's hot, hot, hot. Can't even sleep at night. But hey, we take hold of the moving temperature, stare at it, and delight ourselves in the Lord. We're thankful to God for our lives, for our studies, for our businesses, for our children, for our friends, for our enemies, for our pets. Did I say pets? Yeah, for everybody. We're so thankful to God. So delight yourself in the Lord, and he'll give you the desires of your heart. As I said earlier, things are changing. It is so fluid, but we've got to catch that vapor and stare at it. So what's happening? We've got a new PM now. As if you did not know, we have Boris Johnson now in. The guy accused of peddling optimism has now won and is now in number 10. He officially entered number 10 on Wednesday, the 24th of July, and then started work. He addressed his cabinet and addressed the Commons the next day, the 25th of July. Talking about no rest for the wicked. He had to get the floor running. He's made lots of promises, lots of money for the police, lots of money for the NHS, lots of money for schools, lots of money everywhere. Whoa, that is politics. And who said politics is boring? For example, there's going to be a by-election in Redcon and Reddenshire on the 1st of August. And you've got to keep your eyes open on politics, because one of the parties or the representatives is called Lady Lily the Pink. And do you know what party she's representing? The official monster raven loony party. So, Christians, my advice to you, let's get politics underneath our belt. Let's get involved in it. Let's take our place. Become the next councillor in your borough. Let this podcast encourage you to take your place. So if you're listening on SoundCloud, you just need to follow. If you're on YouTube, you subscribe. Hit that button right now. And if you're on Instagram, it's Amazing Life Podcast. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LiveAcon. Do whatever you can do to follow and to get involved in this podcast. At the end of the session, we should be scholars in political science. We should be astute. We should be intelligent. We should be sharp. This ride is going to be an exciting one. So sit tight and let's take lesson 1. Class begin. Let's go. Thank you for listening. The word for this week is by the late Dr. Myles Munroe, Becoming a Leader. As we hoping to take our place in the political circles, in our boroughs, in our community, in our country, may we learn these skills and undergird ourselves with strength. Listen to this and be blessed. Thank you.
Attitude. The difference between a leader and a follower is attitude. Why? Because it is unique attitudes that distinguish leaders from followers. They think differently. And that's because attitudes produce certain behaviors. And those behaviors stretch the leader beyond the limitations of the norm. In other words, it is the thinking of the person that makes them see circumstances differently. How do you think? Write this down. Attitude is a product of belief. This is very important to develop your leadership. Attitude is a product of belief. You cannot have an attitude beyond your belief. So your attitude comes from your belief system. The lion is the king because of what he believes about himself and what he believes about the elephant and the giraffe. He believes that they are lunch and he believes he can eat them. His belief system controls the whole situation when they meet. I was born in a house on 4 rocks, 2 bedrooms, 11 kids, 1 mother, 1 father. 1 bedroom for my mom and dad, the other for my 7 sisters. And of course the boys had to find somewhere to sleep. I remember sleeping on a mattress on the floor. I remember sleeping one time on a mat, and that sheet never kept the mosquitoes out. All around me was poverty, but we didn't know that because everybody was poor. The only way you know you're poor is when you meet a rich person. And there I was sleeping on the floor. Wonderful family. They loved me. We loved one another. My parents loved us. We loved them. We had a great family, but we didn't have much. And every opportunity was around me to think negative. I was on the other side with alcoholics all over the place. And I remember my mother and father would tell us things to fix our belief system. They would say, you can do anything you want to do, son. And they said that when I was sleeping on the floor. They were working on my belief system. And then they taught us the Bible. Now, I don't know about you and your belief about the Bible made me what I am today, so don't you talk bad about the Bible. And if you don't believe in the Bible, that's okay. I'm doing just fine, believe me. And the Bible helped me become what I am. But it was that book that checked my thinking. Ephesians 3 verse 20. Don't you laugh at the Bible. The verse said, now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above, far beyond all you can ever ask, think, or imagine, according to the power that worketh within you. I went from an F student to an A student in 1 semester because of my belief system. I graduated head boy. It was my what? Belief system. No one can live beyond the limits of their belief. So if you want to live beyond what you're living now, you have to change your belief system. Leaders are born when you have the discovery of a new belief system. The secret to anyone rising is what happens in their belief system. Your life is what you think it should be. That's exactly what you are right now. You are what you thought you should be. And if you don't like who you are, you got to change what you think you should be. That's how leaders are born. No amount of training in leadership skills or management methods or titles, no amount of promotion or associations with rich people or smart people can ever substitute for the right attitude. No substitute for it. As a matter of fact, your leadership development is determined by, number 1, your perception of who you are. Number 2, by why you think you exist. And number 3, these are very important, your sense of significance. I am giving you my secret to life right here. What brought me from the floor to flying my own jet is these simple statements here. You got to first change your perception of who you are. And that starts with a belief system. Secondly, you must change your perception of why you think you exist. And number 3, your sense of significance. Your perception of who you are. You've got to change it. And most of our perceptions are other people's concepts of us, and therefore we don't have self-concept, we got other concept. What is your perception of who you are? And the second one, why do you think you exist? You got to discover that you were born for something. Some reason, there's some purpose for your life. If you don't discover that, you'll always have a job, and we'll bury you in an average grave with an average tombstone. Discover that you are important to the human race. You are important to the world. You are important to your universe. When I had to grapple with that question, it was tough. Because I've been taught by society, like you have, that you are just a social security number or some NIB number, or you're some just kind of a worker in the system. But that's not true. You were born to do something very significant in the world. And you have to get to the point where you believe that. Cultivating these attitudes are the key to becoming a leader. Now, when attitudes of leadership is married to the ability of leadership, then you become a leader. You can have potential, but if you don't have the belief, your potential becomes a victim of your present belief. Remember the elephant? The elephant has great power, but what makes him afraid of the lion is his belief system. So your mentality has to be equal to your ability for you to manifest leadership. You do have the ability, you were born with it to be a leader, but your mentality hasn't matched it yet. And that's why all of your capacity to lead is buried under your lack of belief that you can. Belief is so powerful, it can make an elephant act like a sheep in the presence of a lion. You know, normally people who are insecure, whenever they meet somebody who is confident, They always call the confident arrogant. When you discover who you are, you can't help but be confident. I don't pretend, I don't try to have confidence. If you try, that means you ain't got it. You're faking it. Confidence is a product of belief. What you believe about yourself determines the way you think about yourself, and the way you think about yourself is the way you behave. And you behave bold and confident and fearless because there's some things you discovered about you and about life that makes life change a perception. You can never fully carry out the mandate of leadership if you don't have the mentality of leadership. And that's what this session is about.
The great song pick for this week is King of Glory by Todd Dulaney, but this one is sung by Michael W. Smith and CeCe Winers. Great performance, and you've got to listen to this. Stay tuned.
So let's start right now. Why would we wait? King of glory, fill this place. I just want to be with you. I just want to be with you. Just wanna be with you. I just wanna be with you. Come on, everybody, sing. Yes, the world. You are God. Every man. Bow down and say you are King. So let's start right. Anybody ready to start right now? Should we wait? King of victory. Oh, love him tonight. King of glory. Just wanna be with you. I can't live without you. Just wanna be with you. Can't breathe without you. King of glory. Feel each heart. Just wanna be with you. Oh Lord, just wanna be with you. Nothing else matters. King of glory. Please fill this place. Just wanna be with you. That's all I really want. Just wanna be with you.
You're listening to Amazing Life Podcast, your politics or news in the UK and around the world. There's loads to go through, so let's take it slow and easy, and let's make sure we've got every information that we need. Well, in the UK, we've got Boris Johnson, as we all know now, the new PM for the United Kingdom. He addressed his cabinet and the Commons, and he's gotten straight to work. He's promised money in police, in schools, in broadband, and he's up and running. But his critics say that these are rhetorics and these are vague promises and lacks any detail. And also his cabinet is filled with people that were sacked by the previous PM. And so things are not going according to plan for the critics, but for Boris, he's excited. He's injected self-belief in the country, and we hope we can get things running. On the face or on the front of Brexit, he intends to have a negotiation with the EU and remove the backstop altogether. But the EU says there's no room for negotiations, but I think Boris is reminding the EU that if there's no room for negotiation, this withdrawal agreement has been voted down 3 times. So where do we go from here? Is either you want us to leave the EU with a no deal, or let's sit at the table and have a discussion. And he wants the backstop to be taken out of withdrawal agreement and then move forward. I just hope the EU will come around and then things will move forward in a positive direction. With Boris showing positivity, new energy, self-belief in the country, he made 2 crucial speeches during the week. He made a speech when he was elected as the Conservative leader, and he made a speech when he was confirmed as the PM for the United Kingdom. But I'll play you the speech that he made when he was elected as the Conservative leader. Why? Because during that speech, he paid tribute to his opponent, Jeremy Hunt, and paid tribute to the outgoing PM, Theresa May, for all their hard work. Have a listen.
Thank you, Cyril. Thank you, Charles. Thank you very much, Brandon, for a fantastic, well-organised campaign. I think it did a lot of credit, as Brandon has just said, to our party, to our values, and to our ideals. But I want to begin by thanking my opponent, Jeremy. By common consent, an absolutely formidable campaigner and a great leader and a great politician. Jeremy, in the course of 20 hustings, 20 hustings or husting-style events, it was more than 3,000 miles, by the way, it was about 7,000 miles that we did crisscrossing the country. You've been friendly, you've been good-natured, you've been a font of excellent ideas, all of which I propose to steal forthwith. And above all, I want to thank our outgoing leader, Theresa May, for her extraordinary service to this party and to this country. It was a privilege. It was a privilege to serve in her cabinet and to see the passion and determination that she brought to the many causes that are her legacy, from equal pay for men and women to tackling the problems of mental health and racial discrimination in the criminal justice system. Thank you, Theresa. Thank you. And I want to thank all of you here today, and obviously everybody in the Conservative Party, for your hard work for your campaigning, for your public spirit, and obviously for the extraordinary honour and privilege that you have just conferred on me. And I know that there will be people around the place who will question the wisdom of your decision. And there may even be some people here who still wonder what they have done. And I would just point out to you that, of course, no one party, no one person has a monopoly of wisdom. But if you look at the history of the last 200 years of this party's existence, you will see that it is we Conservatives who have had the best insights, I think, into human nature. And in the best insights into how to manage the jostling sets of instincts in the human heart. And time and again, it is to us that the people of this country have turned to get that balance right between the instincts to own your own house, your own home, to earn and spend your own money, to look after your own family, good instincts, proper instincts, noble instincts, and the equally noble instinct to share and to give everyone a fair chance in life, and to look after the poorest and the neediest, and to build a great society. And on the whole, in the last 200 years, it is we Conservatives who have understood best how to encourage those instincts to work together in harmony to promote the good of the whole country.
This same week we had the Lib Dems leadership contest. I don't know if much noise was made about it, but we had a contest to get a leader to replace this Cable. So the contest was between Sir Ed Davey and MP Joe Swinson. But Joe won because she's actually been acting as the vice president for the past 2 years. So she won the election to be the new Lib Dem leader. She is optimistic that she can win the next election. She also started very quick from the marks or from the blocks. When she was elected, the next day she called for no confidence in the government, but she didn't get any support from the Labour, so it didn't go any further. Labour will seem to pick the time they will vote for no confidence in the government at the right time and not to go with the Lib Dems. So that's a blow for her, but hey, let's keep our eyes on politics, because the Labour government, the Lib Dems, want to vote or call for a vote of no confidence in the Johnson government. Also in the UK, we have a by-election coming up on the 1st of August. As I said in my intro, there's a by-election in Brecon and Radnorshire. This was triggered by the Conservative MP who fiddled with his expenses. So on Thursday, we're gonna have a by-election. We need to keep our eye on this election, because that will then gauge the mood of the country, whether people are still with Brexit or people want to stay or want to remain in the EU. So it's a crucial by-election. But it will surprise you that the contestants for the Conservative Party is the same guy who fiddled his expenses. That's Chris Davis. So I'll take you through the candidates and the parties that are represented in this by-election. So we have Chris Davis, he's representing the Conservative Party. We have Jane Dodds, who's representing Lib Dems. We've got Tom Davies representing Labour Party, Des Parkinson representing the Brexit Party, and then we've got Liz Phillips for UKIP, and Lady Lily the Pink representing the official monster Raven Looney Party. So again, Christians, I pause and I say, let's take our place in government. Let's take our place in our local government. Let's take our place in the country, so that we can have a voice to change issues, to change things that happen. Well, we have news regarding Nissan. It's international and local, so I'll put it in the local news. We've got Nissan. They are set to reduce or to cut the employees by 12,000 across Europe. One of the stuff that they've blamed for this course of action is the Brexit. So there's hope that it doesn't cause so much job losses in the UK. We also have this high temperature in Europe. We have high temperature in the UK, 30 degrees, Germany 41, and France. But amazingly, God has been so good that it's rained in the last few days, so it's calmed down or brought these temperatures down. But it shouldn't negate our responsibility to make sure the greenhouse emission is reduced to bring climate change under control. We have a responsibility, with a Christian or whoever we are, to reduce our greenhouse emission to bring global warming under control. This is your internal news. Now to international news. International news in Spain. We have a little bit of a hiccup in Parliament. We have the Socialist Party, the one in charge is Pedro Sanchez. He won the elections in April, but he hasn't formed a government as yet. So he was hoping to get Parliament to back him, to declare him as the PM for Spain, but he hasn't got a majority to form a government. So he needs the smaller parties to join him to form a government. Well, all is not lost. He's got 2 months to try again to get Parliament's backing to form a government, or elections are looming in November. So let's keep our eye on what's happening in Spain. Now we have Ukraine and Russia at it again. The Ukraine security services have seized Russian tanker, but then they've released the Russian crew, but the tanker is still seized or in the possession of Ukraine, and Russia's not happy about it. But Ukraine are stating that they did this in retaliation for Russian seized their 3 boats in November and detained their crew. So this is a tit for tat. We pray that nothing escalates in this region. Also in Tunisia, democratic elected president, his name is BJ Essebsi. He died at the age of 92, and the country actually adore him for his legacy that he's left. His legacy was he brought about gender equality. Also, he kept the uprise of political Islam under control. How did he do that? He still gave them an identity in the country, but he made sure that they did not control Tunisia, and also he preserved the Tunisia's secular identity. So tributes are being poured out for this the president Essebsi for his hard work, and elections are looming at the moment. But at the moment, the person who is standing in as the president of Tunisia is the leader of the Speaker of Parliament, who is now the interim president. So let's pray that things go well when they have elections, that the right person is selected. We have these, should I say, slight political temperatures being turned up little notches in countries such as Puerto Rico because the governor resigned, and we have issues in Sudan where we want the political parties or the different factions to come together to form a government, a democratic government in Sudan. And so let's keep an eye on all these countries and then pray for them that the Lord's will be done, the peace will be sought in these countries. Oh, did I forget? And also in Hong Kong, there are protests. We need to keep an eye on the ball and not go to sleep. I know there's so many news to take in, but I've got 2 more and I am out. Just 2 more points. We celebrated man walking on moon, 50 years. Yes, that's good news. Apollo 11 rocket blasted from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, and we celebrate all their hard work. Armstrong and his crew, we celebrate them, and we know that this future generation have greater things in sight, and we hope man will walk on the moon very soon. It could be you, or it could be me. And finally, we have a new president for the European Commission. Her name is Ursula von der Leyen. This lady, we need to watch it because she is the missing link when it comes to Brexit. Why do I say that? Because this woman has passion or EU running through her veins. She was the former German defense minister. She's got 7 children, not 1, 7 children. You need to check the waistline. Very nice. And she's 60 years of age and she's passionate about the EU. And as I said, she is an important key in the EU. Why do I say that? I say that because when we listen to her acceptance speech, it was less than 2 minutes. And a woman with few words need to be feared. Have a listen.
I feel so honored and I'm overwhelmed, and I thank you for the trust you placed in me. The trust you placed in me is confidence you placed in Europe. Your confidence in a united and a strong Europe, from east to west, from south to north. Your confidence in a Europe that is ready to fight for the future rather than fighting against each other. Your confidence in a Europe that will take the big challenges of our times together. The task ahead of us humbles me. It's a big responsibility, and my work starts now. I thank President Sassoli. I thank all the group leaders. I thank all the members of parliament who decided to vote for me today. But my message to all of you is, let us work together constructively, because the endeavor is a united, a strong Europe. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening. Your international news. Thank you. You're listening to Amazing Life Podcast, your sports section. Before I started, just to remind you, make sure you follow. If you're on SoundCloud, if you're listening on YouTube, just hit the subscribe button. If you're on Twitter, make sure it's a live icon. If it's on Instagram, it's Amazing Life Podcast. Do whatever you can to get involved. I want to hear what you have to say. So, our sports section, I'll make it short and I'll make it brief so that you can enjoy your weekend. I'll be out of your face. I promise. So, in terms of sports, we have Formula 1 that's in Germany this weekend. We wish all the drivers the best. With netball, as I was blowing my trumpet the whole of the weeks that was held in Liverpool, England won the bronze medal. We didn't win it, but hey, we won bronze. And New Zealand won the tournament. They were ruthless. Well done to New Zealand. And also for cricket men, well done to you guys. They won the World Cup. We've got the Ashes coming up shortly. So hey, we just hope that energy, that enthusiasm will carry them through. In terms of the Premier League, we have the Premier League starting in August. Football. So hey, let's root for your team. I didn't even want to tell you my team because my team. Okay, better not say it. Anyway, so moving on swiftly, just to tell you the results that happened over the last week. Algeria, they won the African Cup of Nations and they beat Senegal 1-0. Watch the game, it was excellent. Well done to Senegal, they came second. And Nigeria, third. Well done to them. Do I need to bore you again? No, thank you for listening. Final song for this episode is by Becca Bradley, I Need Jesus. I heard the song on Premier Praise Radio and I thought, hey, my listeners will love this one too. When things around us change, when politics change, leadership change, everything changes, the only thing that remains the same is Jesus. I need Jesus. God bless you and have a wonderful week. Thank you for listening.
In this world there is trouble, but you bring peace. I find it on my face, yeah, on my knees. In my darkest of hours, I will call your name. When I'm weary and broken, in my weakness I will pray. I seek your